I think it's okay to say as a generation, this isn't working.
Welcome to Let's Talk, ladies, conversations across generations. I'm MB Roberts, an author and journalist, and this is a podcast where we talk to women from their 20s to their 90s about a bunch of hot topics. We ask questions, share experiences, and learn from each other. And it's not just about older women giving advice. We want to know what younger women are thinking too. So let's get talking. It seems to get more complicated every day. How in the world do we navigate social media and all the things online? I know friends, most of them over 50, who simply stay off social media. But what high school girl or a woman in her 20s or 30s is willing to do that? And what about if you own a business or you're an artist or musician? How will you get the word out without social media? Well, today I have someone to ask. Jennie Smythe is the founder and chief executive officer of award-winning Girlilla Marketing here in Nashville. She heads digital strategy for an incredible roster, including Dead & Company, Willie Nelson, Darius Rucker, Blondie, Brooke Shields, Terry Crews, Kristen Chenoweth, Vince Gill, and many others. Super impressive. Jennie says she's found ways to create a digital presence with purpose and authenticity, and how to use social media for good. I want to hear about this. Jennie is also a breast cancer survivor. She's an advocacy ambassador for Susan G. Komen Foundation, and she's the author of Becoming Girlilla, My Journey to Unleashing Good in Real Life, Online, and in Others. Here's Jennie. Welcome, Jennie.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so selfishly wanting to learn everything about digital media from you. I'm so excited. Well, let's jump in and talk about digital presence. I just did the little air quotes with my hand that no one can see. I mean, that's your company, Girlilla Marketing, and it's Girlla, Girlilla Marketing, and this is what you help people create. So you've talked about it on your blog and in your book. Why digital for you?
Right place, right time, right age. I mean, it was being the youngest person around, and it was being assigned things that were afterthoughts. Like it was like, hey, she's young. I bet she understands this whole internet thing. And I didn't, but I saw it as an opportunity. And then I became a user, like an early adapter, where I was one of the people that would, download illegal music and movies off of, illegal sites back in the day, because it was like,
that's what the youngsters did.
Sure. And so I have made that a 30-year process for me to always be interested and willing to look at new ways to consume media as an opportunity, right?
That's really cool. I can completely see that. I still do that to, younger people that like, oh, you can help me. And sometimes they can, sometimes they can't.
Right.
But I feel like their brains are more open to it.
Yeah.
Or like, okay, well, we'll figure it out. I worked at Parade Magazine, and I had this assistant who was awesome. And I would ask her about something, and I realized she didn't know how to do it, but she she would figure it out very quickly where I did not.
She had the fortitude to do it. But like, that's the thing, is that all of those media outlets that we all worked for at one point either evolved or they didn't. And for me, as I'm 48, like I wanted to continue on, so I changed. Right. And you can.
Oh, you had to do that.
Yeah.
And I just remember, I mean, myself, like I was an editor at a print magazine, and when we first were putting things online or doing that in addition, and our company didn't do it well, frankly. And so they have a small digital presence, but the company's pretty much gone.
It's really like, when you look at a lot of the roots of the problems that we have now with, political and news organizations and all of that, I mean, I could write a white paper on, I would entitle it, "I Told You So."
Right.
Because we got lazy and we put a bunch of middlemen in between us and our consumers.
Yep.
Being search engines and whatnot. And we lost our relationship and we lost trust. So that's the biggest hurdle right now is like, how do you get that back?
That's totally right. And just as a person who wrote for magazines and newspapers, I remember watching, TV became monetized. It was like now, very quickly people were paying for cable shows and things without even, worrying about it. And it was like, oh, the New York Times, it's $4 a month. I don't want to, people would say, no, I'm not going to pay anything. And it's like, well, it's going to go away. And you can't just make consumers out of the goodness of their heart.
Right.
You need to support this or it's going to go away. It's just, and I think that the magazines were, like my husband worked for Sports Illustrated for many, many years. It was just like, we'll just sell ads. We'll be all right.
Yep.
We can give it away, on digital. And it just
what's
case.
crazy is about the music industry is we went through all of this 10, 15 years before anybody else.
Yes.
Because we devalued our music. And then it became available for free on illegal sites that, I perused.
Right.
And then and then we tried to say, oh, now you guys have to pay an exorbitant amount of money. And then we're like, oh, okay, well, maybe we'll take it down to, we'll go $12.99, we'll go $9.99, we'll go $1.99, and then we'll go free streaming.
Yeah.
And so now we've evened out, I think. I wouldn't say we're like crushing.
Yeah.
But I would say like maybe we stopped hemorrhaging.
Yeah.
But if you really look at the news and you look at the magazines and you look at, all of that, they're just now feeling that.
Yeah.
And it's really rough out there once you can get it for free. And once you put those headlines on Facebook and you are kind of hoping somebody would click to your news organization to read the article, but you've done so much work of getting people to click on that title that then they just have a conversation about the title on Facebook.
Oh yeah, I saw it. I saw that happened, but I didn't read the whole
right.
thing. Like, is that like giving away the what is it? My mom used to say that if you get the milk for free, or
why would you buy the cow?
Something like that. But a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
But our podcast is all about women of different generations and comparing experiences, and my heart just goes out to. I have a niece who's 24. I young women, and how in the world? Because I'm 61. I want to
look great,
but
refreshing.
Thank you. Thanks. We're not on. Just take her word for it. We're. But I just worry so much. I just can't imagine my high school life, which was pretty good. Nothing terribly traumatic besides the regular stuff, but I cannot imagine the FOMO and the physical pressure. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Just with young women in your life, or
I mean, I'm so lucky. So we have a small office here based in Nashville, and I'm the lone Gen X, and then I have millennials, and then I have Gen Z.
Got the Z's, yep,
and I've learned a lot, and I think they've learned from me too. But like for me, I identify with the Gen Zs a lot more than I identified with the millennials because they're the 90s. I mean, my high school, it was Bill Clinton and the Intern. It was, which by the way, we could talk about resilient women. We could talk about Monica Lewinsky.
And you know what? She is actually incredible and has an amazing podcast. If you've listened to it, it's fantastic.
And what a comeback story.
Right. To overcome that shame on
Nobody
that
would
massive
know,
scale.
Massive. And without the internet, I mean, good Lord, I can't even imagine.
Right.
But the discourse that was happening politically, socially, in music and art and movies, like I think about that a lot. And I think about how ridiculously misunderstood our generation was, but nobody cared. Like literally everyone's like, who cares, about that tiny little generation. And on Gen Z, I think that for a long time professionally, people would say things to me like, you don't know how hard it was for me. And I had to fight for that seat at the table, and you need to be so thankful to me, and you need to repay me over and over and over again for paving paths. And even though I was grateful, and I, obviously grateful to have a seat at the table, for me, I just put another seat at the table. I hope they never know what I went through. I hope it never crosses their mind that they might have gotten a job or might not have gotten a job because they're a woman. Mm-hmm. I hope they just live blissfully ignorant of all of that. I don't need to have credit for that. I don't want them to have to empathize with my pain in order to propel themselves forward. And it was hurtful for me that I just didn't have the opportunity to work for that many women. I had one.
Yeah. Oh,
one really
right? Okay.
good one. And I mean, somebody who I still talk to all the time. And she was so selfless about it. And she wasn't like, I say this about her behind her back on a lot of things, but I have said it to her face. And when she listens to this, she'll be like, oh my God, please stop telling the story. She was mean as hell. She was not like coddling. She was not like a mother figure.
Yeah.
Even though she was.
But tough love is good.
Tough love.
Yeah.
I mean, she would say, I say this in the book, where she would be like, Jennie. And it was like, you might as well have been saying, how stupid are you?
Yeah, idiot.
What are you doing? And she would always say, you're a smart girl. Can we maybe use that? Like when you're thinking about things and making decisions, could you, just do me a favor and use that big brain of yours? And I would just be like, God, what a bitch.
Yeah.
But she's so right.
Right.
Shit.
Right. No, I think that she cared enough to do that.
Yeah.
Not just rubber stamp, what you're working on or doing, and just,
But
like,
the thing
brush you off.
The thing about her name is Lindy. The thing about her is that she would have done that for any counterpart that happened to have been male and young too. She's just a natural mentor. But I happened to be the lucky one that was there.
That's amazing.
So I try to pass that along.
Are you that person for some younger women?
I think so.
Yeah.
Accidentally so for some. But I try to stay connected with people and try to help them as much as I can, because I get back more, right?
Yeah.
Like the Gen Z conversation. The fact is, like, we're so far on this side of the no free time, no boundaries, no, I'm missing words, but like just being able to identify with like certain other areas of your life besides work, right? Mm-hmm. And sure, they have swung the other way where you're just like, oh my God, like your employer can't be like everything to you. Yeah. Like this is a job, and there is a value placed on your time. But, I think it's okay to say as a generation, this isn't working. Like all we see is overwork and people being unhappy and all of that. For me, I don't have that because I'm like intrinsically connected to what I do for a living. I do have boundaries, and I do burn out, and I do hit walls of exhaustion. But I'm also like really stoked about doing my work. Like I really enjoy it. So that's the lesson. I mean, I think for us, we grew up with a little bit of that traditional ideology that you needed to be a good girl. You need to go to college, you need to get a job, you maybe need to get married and have kids and, do those things. And I didn't do any of those things right.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't do them in order, and here we are, and I couldn't be happier with the results.
Well, you talk about women in your life who've helped you along. I did read that a stripper helped you get your first gig. I mean, a
it
shout
continues.
out.
Yeah, Nikki.
Yeah.
Air quotes. We don't know. Do I really know her real name? Of course I don't. Do I know where she lived or, no, I have no idea.
But she did you a solid.
Yeah, and she gave me and she was the most feminist, empowering woman I had encountered in my 18 years on planet Earth.
Like good business advice, right?
Just basically was like, don't mess this up and help someone when you get there.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And honestly, what else is there?
Right. It's a very short book,
Don't
but
mess
it was
it
a
up.
good one.
Right. It's a haiku. It's a haiku.
Well, I mean, that's, you never know where you're going to get the help. I'll take it. I'll take it wherever I can get it. I had women like that when I was first moved to New York and I was a waitress, and just the way they, didn't take any crap from the customer, but still, they were just in charge. They weren't mean to the customer, but if the customer was being ugly, she's like, watch how I do this.
That's it.
This is how we do this when they treat you like that. It's kind of amazing. Yeah, I had to unlearn some things.
Me too.
But so you're in your book, like it's just a pivotal moment of your life is when your dad gave you a deathbed piece of advice. And can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, he was I often say, I think everybody liked my dad. He was, he's a really good looking guy. He was tall, he was tan, he was, kind of hip, and he would, but it really sucked to have him as your dad because he wasn't going to show up to the soccer game. He probably wasn't going to go to the school function. He would say he would do something and then he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, he's a really good guy to go have a couple martinis with, but he's not the guy that you're going to call for I'm sad and I need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
He wasn't that guy.
And then you were pretty much estranged for a while, right?
I was mad.
Yeah.
I
mean, not pretty much. You were estranged.
I was, and I was mean. And I literally said to him and meant it, when you call me on your deathbed, I will not be here for you. And you will die alone. And then maybe you'll understand how I feel. And I meant that. And then lo and behold, because the universe is like, oh, hey, so remember when you were a teenager and you said that? Well, that's here now. And I was the only one.
Wow.
And so I went begrudgingly. But there was something in me that said, I know I said that and I meant it, but I also don't want to have any I kind of went just to see how he was going to be. And then if he was going to be what I thought he was going to be, then I would be like, okay, I did make the right decision, and now I walk away, and I can have peace with this.
You were going to decide in the moment.
Yeah, but there was something in my heart that was just
for you.
But what if? Which had been the way my whole life. It's like you're a kid that's disappointed by your parent. You're constantly, but what if?
You're always holding on to
what
that.
if he does come to this game? What if he does come through? What if he doesn't get married for the 17th time? These questions, and that's a legit thing. But he was open, and so it was only a couple months. He was diagnosed and gone within 2 to 3 months. And we got to hash it out, and he didn't hide. But he was also he's a man, so it's everything's more intense for him. And and I threw my phone at him.
Yeah.
In the hospital, and it wasn't a private room, and so I'm sure, as everybody else in the room is like, what's going on? Yeah. I wanted to be like, there's a long history, okay? This is not just about my dad asking me to get French toast for him. This is, 29 years.
I get to be mad.
Threw my phone at him and said, if you talk to me like that again, I enjoy your last days.
Yeah.
And he's like, and it was immediately, it was immediately, you're right, I'm sorry, whatever. And he had some deep moments, but that in particular, that moment was toward the end. And he was highly medicated, so in and out of consciousness, in lucid 1 minute, then you turn around to tie your shoe, you look up and he's gone. And he just, we're just sitting there, and he said, what would you do if you knew your life was half over? And I was like, kind of question is that? That's just like, ugh, like that's a deep question. Like, let's go back and talk about the weather or.
Let me get you some Jello, Dad. Let me get you some Jello.
Yeah. And so he said that, and I remember him asking the question, but I don't really remember if he was awake when I told him the answer, but I had the answer. And so I always felt like that was a real gift from the universe for me. And it was like the first time. And I think there's just something about being in a hospital room with your your dying parent, that something like that comes up, that in a way, your whole life, if you'd been sort of expected to follow a certain path, even if you weren't, but that was just kind of implied because that's what we did, I think he was trying to, for once, be my father and be
that was for real. That was no.
He was like, and it was like
nothing for him to gain.
Stamp of approval.
Yeah, and then so in your heart, when you want something, that is, and then you're working at it, and a lot of people would be jealous that you're working at something you love so much, and teaching people, and how do you help your clients? That's such a huge question. Just how do you help them see what great things they can accomplish with a great digital campaign?
Sometimes you can't.
Is it so satisfying? Like when you do that for them?
I mean, yeah, for sure. And the opposite, it can be heartbreaking. Depending on the day. I mean, the last 24 hours on digital media has been one of the roughest, toughest days that I've seen in a long time, and I've seen a lot.
I mean, how do you not? We were talking before we got started. Just I get overwhelmed. I was almost completely off of social media for a while, and then shameless self-promotion when we started the podcast, that then I am on, and it just, I'm like, oh, I'm not, it's the FOMO, I'm not doing enough, it's everybody else is taking off. Like how do you counsel people of different ages with that? Like how do you help them? And
ideals. I mean, there are people, like, that's the thing, is like, it's not my job to tell them what to believe.
Yes.
And it is my job to give them the best advice based on what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
It's really hard not to insert my opinion in there.
Right. And like, how do young people, the cliche is young people are addicted to their phones, and, certainly most people are.
Well, that's how they were designed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no different than cigarettes and alcohol. Like, there's not a goodwill out there in technology. It's not like, hey, let me create something that makes people's lives better.
Yeah, that helps you find your way around, or information you need quickly, but not makes you feel like shit.
But it doesn't mean that it's not amazing, right? Like, so when you think about life before the internet, and you needed to find something, you had to go to the library, you had to look, it's like, I mean, what a waste of time. But it has a dark side. AI, we're seeing it now.
Yeah.
I'm not scared.
Okay, because I am.
Don't be.
I mean, I know I have to learn it.
Think about this. Remember when VCRs came out?
Yes. And I wouldn't buy a fax.
Right.
I'm that old.
Right.
I'm that old.
But it's not your old. That's just your constitution.
Yeah.
Like, so you're basically saying, I don't even want to say late. You're kind of an on time. Like, you don't need to be AI right now. AI is like the biggest, most expensive, clunkiest VCR that we ever saw in our lives. And eventually what happens is it ends up at Target. It's $29.99.
Yeah.
It's simple. You just you plug it in, and you know how to work it. That's how AI is going to be. AI is going to be integrated in all of the things that you already use. You're not going to know the difference. Good or bad.
Yep.
You're not going to know that it's the technology behind it. It is not a vehicle. It is what powers the vehicle.
Yeah.
So it's just...
That's a little helpful. I'm just trying to imagine a kid in school, and now that I just can't imagine having that available. Like, well, let me just see what it writes, and for me, and not learning that process. But what can I do? That's like the genie back in the bottle.
It's the same people that were like, I'm never going to give up my house phone.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, okay. There's
You know?
mighty few of those.
Yeah, but you might also have a cell phone. Like, I don't know anybody who just has a home phone anymore.
Yeah, even folks in my mom lived in assisted living.
My mom is in an Alzheimer's care facility
Right.
and has a cell phone.
Yes.
Like, it's not. I mean,
No,
this is not a
it's
thing.
absolutely impossible.
Right.
Well, I had taking such a U-turn or a left turn or whatever, but I just wanted to talk for a minute about. I mean, you had your own health struggles. You've overcome breast cancer. Amazing.
Thank you.
Survivor, and I know you're real active as an ambassador. Can you just share
I
about
drag
that a
my
little bit?
friends along.
Yes, and like you guys are completing a big walk.
Yes.
For Susan G. Komen.
So in November, we are going to San Diego and we're walking 60 miles.
That's tremendous.
It's so dumb.
It's going to take so much
time.
time.
And now this is like, I've done it twice and I can't it's the most uplifting event that you could potentially ever imagine for breast cancer.
Yeah.
It's walking with people that have 30 years survivorship. It's walking with people that have walked every year for 30 years. It's normal, regular citizens of the planet Earth who have raised $300, $400, $500,000, and it's a gathering of people who hope that we don't have to walk the next year.
Yeah, and it's all kinds of people.
And in my lifetime,
yeah,
it's not going to help me.
Yeah, but
in my lifetime, I really believe, and sooner than that, I really believe that my kid is going to see a vaccine. We are really close.
Oh, that's what an amazing message. That's,
not for all women's cancers. Like if it's hormones and all the debates about all the things, it gets really easy to get caught up in all the politicalness of it.
Yeah.
But when you're a patient, you just want people just to do the right thing. Simply just do the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like we are going to be able to eradicate, if we figure it out for one of the cancers, it will snowball because they're all interconnected for women.
Oh my gosh, you gave me chills. That's so
like
incredible.
I believe it.
That is so incredible.
So, and I know Komen's a big, I mean, there's a lot of criticism of the organization, but from an education standpoint, from a patient, there's so much information on the digitals, right? And I'm pretty savvy. But in the moment of being diagnosed, of course I Googled it, which is never, I mean,
it's always a bad thing to do,
so
isn't
bad.
it?
But like Komen's always been there for me.
Yeah.
Like it's the guiding light of let me check what Komen says.
Yeah.
And that's what I sometimes now on
ChatGPT.
Yeah. And women who share their stories on there, because so often you are hearing, the death rates and the surgical complications and all of that. But then they will just have people that have celebrated 30 years of survivorship, and especially on the metastatic side, people that they call them thrivers, and so they are living with metastatic and they're living longer and longer and
oh my
longer.
gosh, that's absolutely thrilling.
And I need to hear those stories.
Yeah, you sure do.
Yeah.
For yourself and
all of us,
everybody else. Okay, so if I'm a 25-year-old woman, well, I'm not, but if I walk into your office and I was just like, oh, can you just give me a little bit of advice? I want to work with you, or I want to start my own thing. What's the one thing I should do today? Or
I feel like the biggest hurdle people have is doing. So like they'll say, I want to start a podcast.
Yeah, right. I hear it all the time.
I want to write a book.
Yeah.
I want to be better at Instagram. I want to do that. And I'm like, you got to try.
Yeah.
And especially on social media.
Yeah.
Pick one network and just like pretend it's an eating plan, a workout situation, a new business, and like make yourself some goals that you can keep hitting and building up confidence. And it can be small. Like it could be, I'm going to make 3 videos a week. 3.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good way to think about it, because I get completely overwhelmed.
Yeah,
See,
you
I'm
can't.
just very selfishly disguising myself as the 25-year-old.
But that's what I would say to anybody.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I would say for myself. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have a huge, because I'm busy helping other people.
Yeah.
It's also just not like, I don't have a lot of things to talk about. Like, I mean, I do, but like not, I'm doing them.
Yeah, exactly.
But if for somebody that has a consumer facing business like you do, you have to tap into the way that people consume media, and that is the way.
It's the way,
and
right?
the only way you can do it is be consistent.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
love
it.
it. You've inspired me to.
I hope so.
Oh my gosh.
Like, if you could do 3 videos a week, okay, and then you can interact. If you can't think of something to post, go interact with other people's posts that you love, and go get inspired.
Yeah.
It is the best place for inspiration.
Oh my gosh. Right. If you drown out negative and like, that's so helpful.
Yeah.
That's so helpful thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I want to talk for hours and hours, and congratulations on your book.
Thank you so much.
And great luck on the walk.
Thank you.
And I hope we'll talk to you soon.
I would love it.
Thank you, Jennie.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Let's Talk, Ladies, Conversations Across Generations. We'd love to hear from you. If you like this episode, please subscribe to the show on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. And you can comment on the episode on any of these platforms. We love the feedback, and it also really helps us with sponsors. So leave those comments. We so appreciate it. And follow us on Instagram and Facebook. You can also send us an email at ltlconversations@gmail.com. Or leave us a voicemail at 629-888-3542. See you next time on LTL.